Hello, welcome in here into Caden's Weather Center. Today we're paying attention to one of our severe weather outlooks here. It's been a while since we've seen the severe weather outlook right now. Currently we have a little bit of a severe weather threat, a slight risk here in the Midwest. This is including several states. We have Nebraska, Colorado, and parts of Kansas involved in this slight risk here, and then same with the marginal risk stretching a little bit up to the north, as well as we could be seeing some severe weather go on throughout the rest of the day today. So let's pay attention to this really quickly right now. Obviously right now we don't have too many massive storms going on obviously in this area. Maybe a little bit of scattered showers that we could be starting to see pop up in certain areas over here, but look at this, most of that rain is down here is in Oklahoma. So as we're seeing some of this heavier rain down here in Oklahoma, if you do live in Oklahoma or heading into Arkansas, please make sure you are watching out for any of the flooding that could be happening on the interstates and all of that, because the interstate does go right through majority of that rain, so we want to keep an eye out obviously on that. But the slight risk, as we can clearly see, is now including parts of Nebraska heading into Colorado and Kansas. We have that slight risk, and then stretching over a little bit more off to the north here for marginal risk. We can see it in South Dakota, Wyoming, still in Nebraska heading into Kansas, and more of Colorado here. So something to be paying attention to, as the severe weather threat could really start to pick up later on tonight. But right now looking very, very quiet here on what we're looking at. So taking a look here, at the time is at the most upper part of the screen here. We can clearly see some storms around 5 p.m. could start to pop up here in the slight weather risk area. A lot of scattered storms going through Colorado and Utah later on today as well, and a little bit of heavier rain going into South Dakota, stretching into Montana as well. Then we head in over here around 6-7 o'clock at night. This is where we're starting to see a little bit of these storms in the marginal risk up to the north of the slight risk getting pretty intense here. That's where we could be seeing a pretty gusty winds with some small hail possible. Very scattered showers still stretching across Colorado and Utah, and then we have pretty large storms could start to form here, and just heading in southwestern Nebraska we could be seeing that. So let's take a look here at the next couple of hours. We can see 9 p.m. tonight. This is Eastern time, by the way, so that would be a whole different type of time. It could be 8 p.m. Central time here. That's what we're paying attention to. So 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Heavy rain still stretching in South Dakota, Nebraska. Still plenty of rainfall still continuing on. Very scattered out in Colorado and Utah. And then we have these strong storms right here that are going to continue to push down kind of to the southeast a little bit more here. And as we go on throughout the next couple of hours, they will start to die down very, very quickly here around 12 a.m. Eastern time, 9 Central, or not 9, 11 Central. We can clearly see Omaha. You guys will definitely be getting a lot of that rain that we could clearly see right now, that we want to keep an eye out obviously on very, very closely. So if you live in Omaha, please be making sure you are paying attention to the weather for some heavy rainfall here in the next day. Early tomorrow we could be seeing it, early Monday, so we could be definitely seeing that, or we could be also possibly seeing it later on tonight. It all depends on what we could be seeing, but you guys are not in that severe weather risk, but definitely something to be paying attention to no matter what. Then as we continue going into tomorrow, we're still paying attention to a little bit of possible some storms here, but we're not seeing any update here for the marginal risk or slight risk. We're only seeing it just a thunderstorm risk really. So probably by maybe tomorrow, we could be seeing maybe a marginal risk kind of in this area, maybe a marginal risk in this area. We'll definitely have to keep an eye out and see what these the future radar is saying here. But look at this. Maybe not over here because the storms start to die down, but heading into early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Eastern, 4 Central, we could clearly see a lot of storms will be heading into Missouri here and still stretching into southern Iowa. So something to be paying attention to as we go on. And then we can see going through Kansas City and Missouri, we could clearly see some pretty strong storms right now forming, at around 8 a.m. Eastern time, 7 Central still. We can clearly see some pretty decent storms. So I would definitely say if you live somewhere in this area right here, we could be expecting maybe a marginal risk here by the Storm Prediction Center due to what the radar is saying here and what kind of severe weather we could be anticipating. It's not going to be a massive outbreak of anything. It's really just going to be some pretty severe weather with some possible gusty winds, some large hail, and then possibly just some thunderstorms. Frequent lightning could definitely be a big factor here, but rainfall will be definitely a big thing, especially stretching with this all the way from Illinois all the way down here into Oklahoma and Arkansas. So something to be paying attention to as we go on here with the severe weather threat, the flash flooding threat. A lot to be paying attention to as we go on throughout the next couple of hours and the next couple of days. What could we be seeing? Because tomorrow, this is kind of what we're looking at here, but really haven't been seeing a severe weather risk in a while, so that's at least some good news. So taking a look right here, though, this is the severe weather risk for today. We can clearly see that marginal risk still continues on in the Midwest here, and that slight risk is still in the same area as well. The Storm Prediction Center kind of updates it throughout the rest of the day, so we could be seeing a little bit of a change. Tornado risk, we can see, is one of the slightest, 2% in this region right here. We can't rule out 1 or 2 tornadoes that could form, but this is definitely something that we want to pay attention to closely because, I mean, no matter what, we could still be seeing a possible tornado. So Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and Sterling, Colorado, we could be seeing you guys having a possible tornado, a small tornado. It would probably most likely be a brief tornado. Nothing too extravagant or anything like that. The wind threat is kind of more of a localized area, I would say. It's a little bit more here on southern Nebraska, heading into parts of northeastern Colorado and northwestern Kansas. A little bit of a slighter area here. But even if you're in that 5% zone, we could still be seeing some pretty gusty winds here. But if you live in the 15% zone, you're definitely going to be expecting it maybe a little bit more than the people that live in the 5%. But the hail threat stretches a little bit off to the north, you can clearly see. So most of all of western Nebraska could be definitely seeing some possibility for some pretty big hail here. And then going into Colorado, heading into Kansas as well, we could be seeing a little bit of that to be paying attention to as well. So paying attention to all of that. This is something to be paying attention to. Rapid City, you know, all the cities are down here. Rapid City, South Dakota. You guys are in it. Cheyenne, Wyoming. North Platte, Nebraska. Fort Morgan, Colorado. Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and Sterling, Colorado are in that hail threat, the biggest hail threat. And then the wind threat, Sterling, Colorado. You guys are in that biggest wind threat as well. So no massive outbreak of anything. So that's at least good news. And then tomorrow we'll have to definitely take a look here at the severe weather risk because we could be seeing a marginal risk, and definitely I would pay attention to it very, very closely. But make sure to follow my X page down in the description to keep up with the latest information on the severe weather threat. And if there is an update from the Storm Prediction Center, please make sure that you are following my X page for the latest information. And I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day here, and I hope you guys are staying safe out there if you live in the severe weather threat or if you're paying attention to the tropics as well. So please make sure you are staying safe, and I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.